apparently she's really patient. So.
The roast continues.
Oh my goodness. Happy, loving. Hannah has so much empathy. She feels other people's everything. Always has. Always has.
Great sense of humor.
Yeah.
That comes to me. I mean, sense of humor.
Absolute sweetheart. Life of the party.
Changed him. I mean, she's first one that's like gotten to make him go down on one knee.
Yeah.
And make the big announcement. Like, she's accepted it. So.
She's very sweet.
That's what I was going to say. Very sweet. Very kind.
She took to our family very quickly as well.
Yeah.
She fits in. She knows what she's getting herself into, and she embraces it.
She's nice.
She's nice.
She's nice.
Yeah, she's a good listener.
She's beautiful.
Oh, that was good, Lily. That was good.
Yeah, her beautiful.
I would say that Hannah is probably one of the most thoughtful people. I feel like Hannah knows exactly what you need at the moment you need it. And even today, receiving this officiant gift of an Ohio hoodie was like perfect, because that's exactly what I would have wanted. Or when I've had like, you know, bad situations in life, she sent me a 5-pound bag of gummy bears. So
Yes.
she's thoughtful.
She's very thoughtful. She's very kind. And I think the one word that I would use to describe her is warm. In every sense of the word. She's just a warm human being.
Unique. She's super quirky. I love it.
Yeah, I would say a free spirit. Like, she's all about authenticity and people being their true selves.
She's also like very hippy dippy.
Yeah.
Go with the flow kind of girl, which is great. I'm very like, I keep us safe, she keeps us wild sort of person. That's what we love about her.
Hannah is the kindest, most gentlest person you'll ever meet, but at the same time has this fire and free spirit that no one else has. What do you think? What do you think about Hannah?
That she's going to be great in the weather.
Yes.
She is. Hannah really knows what she wants, and she, best way I can describe it is, she won't settle for anything less than what she deserves, and I think Gary fits that perfectly, and I think she's very happy. So she definitely has found what she needs and what she wants. So.
Gary is.
Now, see, I think we should do thoughtful for Gary.
But I think.
Thoughtful.
But I think Gary is like he's like the helpful person. Like if you have a gadget that you can't figure out, Gary's the guy to figure it out. If you need a leather binder, Gary's there. Gary literally saved our wedding because we did not have a leather binder for our officiant, and he happens he happens to carry a leather binder with him everywhere he goes. And the leather binder I used for their wedding, he gave to our officiant for our wedding.
Gary's always willing to lend a helping hand whenever he can.
Yeah.
He's lots of opinions. He thinks his are right. He likes to wear sleeveless shirts.
Those like sleeves. Oh yeah.
He's good at fixing problems, even if they're not the problem that you thought you had.
The roast of Gary.
Yeah, right.
He's
Is this supposed to be
I feel like he is great at fixing
Terry got a
problems.
building maker.
Meat stick. Beef stick.
He could be a clown. He can be a clown. He wants to make people happy and laugh.
I have lots.
Methodical.
Ooh, that's a good word.
Very, he's an overthinker.
Yeah.
He's really analytical.
He's very analytical.
Yeah.
Those are all really better words than I have.
I work with Gary.
Yeah,
so
that's what I said. I was like, you
a
get
lot
him
of
in
experience in that.
dog wants to start calling him Garrister.
Yeah.
And it stuck with him, and now Hannah does this, so just out of the blue. So
Yeah, we still call him
yeah,
Garrister.
Garrister. Yeah.
God bless him. No, he's great for her. He is. They really feed off each other's energy. He spoils her rotten, which is all you want for your sister.
Wow. He's a good, big old teddy bear.
Yeah,
Big old teddy bear.
all about the Ohio State University.
Gary and I share some interests of sports and stuff, so we get along. He treats Hannah well. That's all I really care about, and I see him making her happy, and that's all. Like I said, that's all I really care about. So, great guy, very nice, very caring, and glad to have him part of the family.
He's very, gosh, what's the word I want to use? He loves for things to be perfect. And anything less than perfect is not good enough for Gary, which is actually why I'm glad I found Hannah, because Hannah's like the most perfect, obviously. But I'm a little biased.
What do you think of Gary?
Well, he is going to marry him.
Yeah, and that's going to make him what? Are you excited about that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's honest, he's genuine,
Yeah.
he's considerate,
Speaks his mind.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
sensitive, in a good way.
Very much so.
Yeah. Lily, do you have anything to say about Uncle Buck? I know you sit over here. He likes to play with you.
He likes to play with me. I like to cry. Mommy, where's Uncle Bob?
Well, he's out there. We're doing an interview for him.
He's the best uncle that I ever met.
Ooh.
That's
so nice.
Other than Chris, right?
I love Chris.
Okay, it's okay. It's his video, so we can say it.
What do you think about them being together? You think they're good together?
Of course.
Of course.
They're great together.
They are.
Yeah, our first memory is, she had hip surgery, and he was just there for her, and so that was our first.
Yeah, I was in her house, and they hadn't came home from surgery yet, and a guy comes through the door. I'm like, he goes, "Hello, I'm Gary." So that was my first meeting.
Yeah.
So
I think I always knew them as friends before they were a couple. Playing soccer together through Holly. So I really got to see them become really good friends before a couple, and that was really enjoyable.
First time they were together, it was before they were actually dating that I can remember. It was at Holly and Ruscher's, it was either the Halloween party or their winter scavenger hunt. It was the first time I can remember them. But just before they started dating.
I think the first time for me was for Gary's birthday. I got an invite from some random person. I didn't know who it was. And it was Hannah, and she got the number from Dan Ross, and they invited me over to Red Robin. And that was the first time I met Hannah.
First time I met her was probably at my wedding. At my wedding.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
He told me she was coming to the house. I had not met her yet, and asked me if I would make spaghetti and chocolate covered strawberries. So I did.
Wow. I feel like she just randomly showed up at a holiday once.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
what I remember.
I think it was Christmas. We're like, oh, hey, it's Hannah.
My first memory, she started bringing them around, and we'd watch, going back to sports games together, things like that. And so me and him kind of had a friendship there just outside of him and Hannah. And I could see they also shared very much the same interests. And I don't know, just always had good memories with him.
Yeah, our first memory together was Beer Fest, but they weren't technically dating. They were talking.
Yeah.
And I might have told Hannah, and Gary knows this, that I said, Hannah, you're too cool for that guy. And I was wrong.
But we were drinking and things were crazy. But that's our first time we met.
Yeah.
Both of them together.
That was the first time we met both of them together, and I remember me and Gary danced our asses off at Beer Fest. There wasn't a dance floor, but we were dancing.
I know them separately, so I was trying to think of the first time they were together. I know that the first time they were together, I said to both of them that they were going to eventually date because they were perfect for each other. When did you meet them first together?
Together, well, Gary had told me a lot about Hannah before I actually met her. So when I did meet her, everything he said, it was like, oh, you guys would get along so great. And it was immediately like, oh yeah, we do.
Yeah,
great.
clicked.
She's the best. I was like, I actually approve of this one because I had met some of Gary's other people, and they were not so great.
Yes, I put that on Hannah's side, where I was like, I met a lot of the duds, and when we found Gary, we were like, that's it.
Yeah.
Good fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we've always known that they were perfect together because of the way that they are able to get through the rough parts of life. It seems like almost the rough parts make them better, and they're able to kind of get through each time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's for me like a moment. I was like, oh, that's when I knew they were supposed to be together. It's the last 5 years of, like what Aaron said, the hardships that they've gone through, and they never have given up on one another, and they very much focus on each other individually and as a couple. And through all of those hard times, that's how I think we've figured out that they are supposed to be together.
And they have made each other better through the year. So if the other one needed more assistance, the other one was there to provide that assistance, where they could kind of grow and learn, together into kind of who we see today, getting married.
Just hearing Hannah talk about him and how much she counted on him to be there for her and how much she felt like he was, and so that meant a lot to both of us.
Yeah, I mean, right away for me, because when he came up for the surgery, it was a 2-hour drive for him to come up here to help take care of her and do her therapy, and he was there for her. So
yeah.
I don't know that there was ever a moment. I think that's what's great about Hannah and Gary, is it was a very slow forming, true friendship that turned into a relationship.
From the get-go.
So mine was before I even met Hannah. I knew that they were going to get married. I remember having a drunk moment at Victor Hayes' house with Victor Olslin and Gary, and he was telling me about how he met this really awesome girl that he really liked, and he was really excited to pursue her, and we all fully endorsed him. We had like a bromo, and then he kind of went on a sabbatical for a couple months, and then I saw him again, and then next thing I know, him and Hannah were a thing.
I think it was when she came over a second time. Because we're a lot. She stuck around.
I think there were a couple times where he shared things got a little hard, but then they both pushed through, and I think really worked on it and showed that they wanted to make it work. So that was really telling.
So I don't know. I noticed with Hannah, Gary's very patient and considerate of Hannah and trying to make her happy, and I think he does a great job with that. Always thinking about her first, and again back to the patience. Hannah requires some patience. I've been her brother for 28 years, and she's wonderful, but he definitely has that quality to him that Hannah needs in a partner. And I think when I noticed that, that's when I knew that he might make it, they might be a forever type of thing. So.
Love is patient, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he just has a different vibe when he's with her. Like, there's just something around with her that makes him just elevate, be a better person.
What's really cool about both of them is they both bring the best out of each other. And that's rare when you find a couple like that, and it's super exciting to be able to say that those are two of my best friends.
For me, it was when Hannah stopped looking. She always she's one that doesn't settle. in life in general. She's always like looking for the next thing, the next best thing in life. And I love that about her, and I'm glad that she took that into her love life as well, because when she met Gary, I feel like she finally was able to like kind of sigh a deep breath, and like I saw her calm down in a sense, like she felt comfortable. And so I was kind of happy to see that in her when she found Gary.
Yeah, for me, I think so. They had gone through a little bit of a rough patch, like everybody does, and the way that they were able to compromise through that and see each other's perspectives, which I think is difficult for both of them. I think that's when I thought like they're going to be in this for the long haul, because they were able to work through those issues in a way that
you can get through the bad together the way they have. You know, it's going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary had reached out to both of us and met with us.
For lunch at
Yeah.
Clubhouse, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hannah didn't know about it, but he was asking for our blessing. And so, yeah, we knew before she did.
I knew about it because I knew he was meeting with my parents to ask them for their blessing. I wasn't there, but I heard, and I can understand this, but he was very nervous for the occasion, and so I knew it was coming, and they went to, where was it, like Myrtle Beach or some beach, and he found the nerve to do it, which is, we all know can be very nerve-wracking, but I'm happy for you.
Gary and I were fishing. Our usual, on the weekend we go fishing. He let me know that he was gonna pop the question, he even showed me the ring, and I had to keep my mouth shut so I couldn't tell anybody until it actually happened.
Wow, where do I get started with the engagement talks? We've had plenty of drunk nights about this. I would say probably the most memorable one is he pulled out a ring. He said, "Hey, I got to show you something. It's finally time." And I was like, "That's awesome, man!" And I gave him a big bro hug, and I was like, "I'm so happy for you."
You knew about that.
I didn't know anything until I seen pictures.
Because we didn't tell you. Yeah. We kept it a secret from you. He told, I think, us like a couple months in advance.
Yep.
And he told Lily, and Lily swore to secrecy and told no one.
Wow.
Good work, Lily.
I think he randomly just sent me a picture of a ring and didn't say anything. And so I had to guess what was happening.
Were you flattered?
I said yes, right?
Like, it's a bit much, but
we have our friendship is a little different. Like we've known each other for so long, but we've gone through parts in our life where we can go a couple of years without meeting or really talking for a long period of time. But it'll be a random phone call or just a spark that'll bring us back together, and it's like we only missed each other for a couple hours. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, and the fact that he made that jump to finally commit to like making this the next chapter in his life is getting married and having Hannah be the one, like it's huge for him. It's a big part for him. He loves people. He loves to make people happy and smile and laugh. And for Hannah to have him and all of this come together is truly special for both of them.
Well, they were in Florida.
It
was in Florida. They went to the beach. Yeah. And we knew that's where he was going to do it. And it was right before her birthday. So when he proposed to her on the beach, of course, a friend was there to get some photos. And right away, Hannah called and sent those photos to us. And very excited. So we were excited for her.
We did know
about it ahead of time.
Gary told you, I think.
Gary told me that they were going to be getting engaged in Florida, and we were present, during the engagement, which was very special.
Well, technically we weren't present because Gary proposed before we got there.
He was supposed to wait for us to get there,
but our flight was delayed, and all these other things were happening, and Hannah was spiraling. So Gary proposed in the hotel room, And then we arrived like 5 minutes later.
And we knock on the door, and Hannah opens it, and she shows the engagement ring and stuff.
And then we spend all week celebrating. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So Gary took his good old time with the engagement. And I was like, okay, it's been 5 years, it's time. And so we were all like, getting on him because it had taken so long and whatnot. And so the day before it happened, Hannah and I were on the phone, and we were like, he's not going to do it. They were in Florida. It was like the perfect thing. And she was all upset because he wasn't going to do it. I was ready to fly down to Florida and like literally take him out. And then like a couple hours later, he did it. And it's true Gary to wait until the last minute, make sure it's absolutely perfect, plan it out to perfection. Don't worry guys, I got it, but I'm not going to tell anybody that I've got it. And so he did it in true Gary fashion, which is perfect in hindsight because that's how their love life is. But yeah, so I hated Gary, and then I loved him immediately. So it was like a very quick turn on for me because I was very protective of Hannah in that situation, but it worked out just like it should have. So it was great.
Yeah. Hannah actually called me the next day since she was vacationing in Florida, and she told me and sent me pictures, and we did the tell me every detail kind of sister conversation.
I had known for a while as well, and I had known that Hannah was expecting it for a while, and he had come up with so many plans, and I kept asking and asking. There was a little bit of a deadline involved, and I was not thinking he was going to make that deadline because he waited until the very last second, and I kept saying, like, there's like a time that you have to do this by. And so he finally met the deadline, like
hours before.
Hours. So.
Like I said, in true Gary fashion, he did it.
Yes.
Yeah. It all turned out great. It was good.
So we will come up with a crazy idea or adventure, and they'll just go along with it no matter how crazy it is. So I had the idea that we were in Cancun, Mexico, and we traveled to across the ocean to Cozumel.
Yeah.
I had the idea, let's rent a car. Well, I didn't have my driver's license, and I didn't really have a form of, I had my driver's license.
We had cash.
We didn't have cash or a credit card. And to get like a nice car that was like safe with seatbelts and air conditioning, you had to have a credit card. So I found a place that didn't need a credit card. So we get a jalopy Jeep that has no seatbelts, no air conditioning, and no brakes.
Brakes are very questionable.
And it's a stick shift. And I'm just like, hey, like, this is what it is. And they're like, sure. They're like, well, we trust you as a driver. So I'm driving around this island, like in this jalopy, and literally, like, the brakes go out as soon as we're getting back, and like I can't even stop the car and stuff. But they're always down for our stupid adventure.
We just drove around the whole island, beach hopped, and then got back on the ferry.
And there's going to be more, Hannah and Gary. There's going to be more adventures coming.
Them two together, though, is just comical in its own. I don't know, just being with them both at the same time. They share the same energy, have the same sense of humor, and it's always a great time when they're around. So they're just fun together.
Yeah.
I said this in the speech, but to me, the thing I admire most is that they both very much allow themselves to be their authentic self. Mm-hmm. The good, the bad, the ugly. Gary lets Hannah be Hannah, and Hannah lets Gary be Gary. And I just think that's beautiful.
I think two things. Obviously, we mentioned resiliency, like they're resilient together, but as friends, they're there for all the big moments. Mm-hmm. And we strive to kind of reciprocate that and to be there for their big moments, because they've been there for all of ours, whether it was birthdays, whether it was announcing babies coming, whether it was us getting engaged or us getting married. They've been there for all those moments, and we try and strive to be them, to reciprocate that.
They put family first. I like it. Not only his, but our family. They hopefully they do not forget that after marriage. So.
Yeah, Hannah and I just talked today about the stress of being the day before the wedding, and she said, "Mom, I'm not about the centerpieces or the flowers. I don't care about that stuff. I just want all the people to be there. I want, my family and my friends to all be there. So that's what's important to
That tells you a lot about her. Yeah.
They are very much the yin to each other's yang. They balance each other, where Hannah is kind of that fiery jump into something. Gary is that I'm going to hold you back a little and keep you reined in. And Hannah can be wild and free, and Gary just loves that about her and embraces it. And it's just, that's all you want.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off that, I kind of see like he's the foundation of the couple. He's strong, he's patient and thoughtful, and Hannah's, like Meredith said, very fiery, very, I don't know, to put it into a metaphorical sense, he's like the soil on the ground, she's that flower that blossoms, and he helps her do that.
They're just such giving people that they will do anything for friends or family at a drop of a hat.
What sticks out to me is they're not just friends, they're family. They've been along in my life so long, I can't imagine not having them. Gary's my big brother, Hannah's my little sister. So it's just such a cool relationship I have with both of them, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
They balance each other out very well.
Yeah, they're very different but very similar at the same time. I think they feed off each other really well.
Oh, I'm going to speak to a little bit of what Aaron said earlier, in that the way that they communicate with each other is unlike, I think, any other couple actually I've ever seen, because they've been through a lot. I mean, the past 5.5 years, there's always, couples go through everything, but they've been through so much together in such, even a short amount of time. I feel like 5 years isn't really that long in marriage terms.
Yeah.
And so for them to overcome everything they've overcome together, and for me, from Hannah's perspective, knowing her since we were really little and watching her fight for something that she loved so much, I've never seen her, fight for something that hard, and that just makes me really proud of her, and then happy that she's getting what she wants out of life, because she obviously really wants it, and that's just really good for their future too, I think, actually, from an outside perspective of their marriage, which means nothing, but I think that they truly will fight through everything for each other.
Yeah,
and that's really important in a marriage.
It's kind of like they're both authentic too.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Straightforward, it's honest, and that's probably a good thing that like brings them together. That they can be authentic with one another and share that with the people closest to them.
I would agree with the communication aspect, because they have not always been able to communicate the greatest, and just how they've learned each other through like the entire time that they've been dating, how to communicate with each other. It's like it's a completely different thing watching them now than watching them when they went through some of the hardest things that they went through. So I'd say for sure the communication.
I actually love, of anybody that I know, Hannah and Gary have the most open relationship to their friends. They involve their friends and family in their life, and I think that makes it so strong, their relationship so strong. That's such a really cool thing, because a lot of people are really private about their love life, and so they're not, and I actually love that. I mean, there's obviously things they keep to themselves, as they should.
Right.
I don't want to know everything, but I do love that they involve everyone in their love story. It's kind of really cool.
Yeah.
Any advice for Hannah and Gary?
What advice would you give?
Well, I know Hannah's going to be pretty, and Gary's going to be handsome.
Very handsome.
In a way.
Yes. I think so too.
Over to you, Ted.
Over to me.
Mine, I think for a happy long marriage, I can vouch for us, because I think you need to be best friends, the bride and groom. Mm-hmm. You really do. If you're not now, become best friends and communicate. Yeah. I think that's a key here, because she is my best friend. So
I would just say, just keep being yourself. Don't change. Marriage is not supposed to change you for the worse. It's change for the better. If you just keep to yourself, then you just keep growing and growing, and it gets better and better.
I was just gonna say, never stop listening. I think that's my advice. I think it'd be easy for both of them to stop listening.
Yeah, I think too, just life is hard at times, and I think being able to find the joy and beauty in it as you go, and relying on each other through that is huge.
So Gary, my advice to you is the power of the nod. Just nod and say yes, dear. Hannah, when the game's on, just let Gary have his time. Don't interrupt Ohio State or Duke basketball, and you guys will be perfect together.
Yeah, I think for speaking from my end, being married, my perspective of it, Christy and I have been together for going on about 5 years, and when we first started dating, our church has a marriage retreat, and usually married couples go to those things. Christy and I weren't even engaged at that time, but we took that step to going in there and trying to build a foundation. And I think your guys' relationship has a strong foundation, but continuing to have that communication and that sharing that love, and then exposing that love to continuing to share that love with the people around you will only strengthen your marriage and bring you two closer.
I guess just wish them the best of luck and all the happiness.
And to give us lots of nieces and nephews.
Lots?
Yeah, because we need more kids. We might get one. Okay, just one. I'll be happy with one.
Wish them to have a good wedding.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess the biggest advice I have for Hannah and Gary is, and I don't think they need this advice, I think they do it already, but just always communicate, how you're feeling, don't bury anything, even after marriage. There's going to be ups and downs, and just talking it through and working through it all. I think they are capable of that, and I'd see a lifetime of happiness if they continue to do that.
Just keep loving each other.
Forever and ever, never stop your love.
Forever and ever.
Try to always see each other's perspective. It will be difficult because you're not always going to agree on things, but just make the attempt.
Yeah, that's good advice. From married woman to married woman, that's good advice. Be patient with each other, I think goes along with that. But laugh. They're both such goofy personalities in their own way. And so I want them to laugh through the rest of their lives, which I know they will. And with Hannah around, you have to laugh. So
both you two put each other first as you always do. Just continue to do that. It's just you two now before babies come. It's just you two. So you guys are each other's world. So keep putting each other first. Keep ensuring that the other's good. Just exactly what you're doing. And just as I said in the speech, just keep going. We love you guys. We know you guys are going to have a great life together, and we can't wait to see how your love continues to flourish, and we can't wait to see how your family grows.
I concur.
They're great together, they're balanced, and their hearts together.
Yeah.
And what do you think they should do to be happy forever?
After they get married.
Love each other.
Yes.
Be nice to each other.
Yes. And even though they be mean to each other, they'll always love each other.
That's right. Always love each other.
Always.
Boston.